Hello there.
Hello there.
How you doing?
I'm very well.
Cool.
Very
Yeah.
well.
So
Yeah.
finale. I was a bit of a shocker. I wasn't expecting it to finish so quickly, but
Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't sure how many episodes they were going to do, but I mean, I kind of expected it to sort of, I don't know. I didn't think there would be too many more because I still really wasn't sure what was going on in this thing, really.
yeah.
But yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So we sort of start off with the aftermath of Kate forcing Shetty to murder herself, and
Yeah. So they're all freaking out a bit, aren't they? And
well, yeah, as you would, and they kind of have a bit of a disagreement. Kate and Sam want to go off and release everybody from the woods, which I thought everybody would want to do. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, I thought that too. It was a bit strange because that they didn't want to do that. You
Yeah,
know,
that would be the
yeah,
next
it
thing on
kind
the
of.
list, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't sure why they didn't. Yeah, and I don't think they really explained why some of them were like no, and it just instantly divided the team.
Yeah,
Kate sort of turns full megalomaniac. So does Sam, sort of,
yeah,
and the others are like, well, we have to stop them,
mm,
And it's like, oh, right, okay. I thought you were kind of all on the same side there.
yeah.
So yeah, it was a bit strange. Kate
I mean,
sort of like because she's off them.
if I knew that like my classmates were locked up in a place where they were being experimented on. Also, we know about the disease thing. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? That they Marie knows about the disease for to kill soups. You think they'd be all over that shit? You wouldn't. Yeah, I don't get why
yeah.
they. Yeah, that seemed a bit off. Anyway, so Kate and Sam go off and do that, and Marie and Jordan, for whatever reason, say no. So they go to the woods, don't they? Or do they?
Yeah. I think, well, yeah, I mean, there's a scene where you see sort of Andre goes to see his
Oh
dad
yeah, his dad.
in the
Yeah,
hospital just before
it's
that,
quite
but
well
like it's
acted.
sort of,
I thought this bit because when the doctor's telling Andre about like your dad's got brain damage and there's not a lot we can do. We can maybe
yeah,
slow it down, but that's about it. You've got to just stop using your powers. And by the way, it's going to affect you like this as well. And
yeah,
Andre's like, oh, can we concentrate on my dad? This is all a bit much. He was really good in that scene, I thought.
yeah, it was
Um,
sort of emotional, wasn't it?
yeah, and so that's like fuck. And I like other soups. Are they affected like that with using their powers? And I mean, Kate's obviously got the bloodshot eyes and things, but
Yeah. It seems like some are, I mean, it's a very convenient sort of, thing, isn't it, to say that some are and some
yeah.
aren't, I'm sure there are loads of sort of superhero trope. I think that's like a trope in some superhero movies, isn't it?
Well,
That the
it's
more
in.
you use your powers, the
Well, I think I first noticed it in Watchmen. Sort of
oh
like.
yeah, of course. With
So the first Minutemen, there was a couple out who went mental. There was a guy with a rope round his neck who was a bit
yeah,
of a Nazi, and then there was I think the
yeah,
one
he was
who
a
looked like
Nazi.
a bug. He got taken away to. I mean, I suppose it would fuck you up, wouldn't it, mentally? So yeah, I mean, it's always been there, sort of thing. If you're going to inject a bunch of children, some of them are going to be mentally ill when they grow up. It's just a sort of it's a figures thing,
Well,
isn't
yeah.
it? Yeah,
Well, exactly. Yeah. I mean, everyone, most, even normal people, most of us are insane.
yeah.
So it's like, it's all that great power, great responsibility sort of thing. It's like, do you know what I mean? It's like it's like
Well, I mean, look
giving a
at
load of,
Homeland is obviously bananas. Do you know what I mean? And
yeah,
and then there's Black Noir as well. I mean, he had half his
oh
brain
yeah.
missing. Do you know what I mean? And he was looking at cartoon characters and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I get it.
But I mean, it's weird because the whole thing is like, especially with the boys, is that all the people who have these powers, they're kind of almost all of them are like majorly corrupt in some way
Mm.
because they use the powers for themselves, if it's for fame or self
Yeah, well,
promotion
look
or,
at
or to
Kate.
or to just kill their enemies. But like
Yeah.
which is also weird that you would give those powers to children, to teenagers, and expect them. We're all supposed to expect them to act nobly, and it's
Yeah.
like it's not. It's just like giving a bunch of AR-15s to a bunch of teenagers and saying, be nice.
Have some
Like
cocaine while you're at it.
someone, yeah, gas and cocaine, and like just sort of like just be nice
Mm.
to each other. Like and basically but if you do shoot these machines, there probably won't be any repercussions. Do you know what I mean? It's just asking for trouble.
Yeah.
Like when any human being has an advantage over another human being, they're gonna use it. You know what I mean? Even if they justify it in their minds by saying, "Oh, I'm doing the right thing," you're going to take advantage of another human being. So and it's
Yeah.
kind of good they sort of did that in traditional superhero things. A lot of people are very noble. Well, they're either villains or heroes, aren't they?
Yeah.
Superman always uses his power for good. Captain America uses, I mean, he's just super strong or whatever. Uses his power for good, but the rest of them are just like kind of just like I don't know, playboy slobs. You're just elitist, sort of narcissist and stuff. So why you would think a bunch of fucking teenagers would it be any different?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They're
Well,
going
I
to be
mean,
even
it's
worse.
like Judge Dredd, isn't it? I mean, I used
Mm.
to read that. I mean, the guy's a fascist, but he's got the
Yeah,
power of, he can murder people. He can just cast judgment and murder people, and he
yeah,
does. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I mean, I don't think he's having fun, but you know what
yeah.
I mean. At the same time, he does obviously use his power as a policeman to kill people. The thing that did make me wonder about this is because the andro, and he's going to get brain damages if he uses his powers, and also Kate, because I used to work mental health, and she's using her powers and it's destroying her brain. It's more likely she's going to get psychotic, because we had a patient who's psychotic anyway, but she got a disease and it affected her brain and it was destroying her brain as well, and that was making her worse. And the worse she
Mm,
got, she wouldn't take her pills and stuff like that. Um, she became dissociative. She said that wasn't her. The name on the pill bottle wasn't her, and stuff like that. And as the disease progressed, she became more psychotic, and it was just this like cycle of, she's fucked basically. You know what I mean? Unless we get the pills into her
yeah.
to bring down the psychosis, then so it was like so I was wondering if maybe Kate's gone a bit psychotic because she's using her powers too much.
I,
And
I expect, yeah, I expect so. Plus,
yeah,
she can make people forget what she's done. She's done some quite horrible things already
she's
throughout the
terrible in
series.
this one. I mean, the amount of murder in this episode is it's quite intense.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. But you sort of they think they're justified by doing it. Excuse me.
I mean, she has been treated badly, but like a lot of the stuff she does in this episode is just beyond the pale. I mean, she.
Well, I mean that's the thing. I mean, everyone's treated badly, aren't they?
Mm,
Like no one has everyone has elements of their childhood that go wrong. You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, some more than others, obviously, but like no one escapes your childhood completely unscathed.
no,
And it's like saying I've had a bad childhood is not, is not justification for murder or
well, no,
making someone eat
yeah.
their own hands.
Yeah, that's the thing that stood out to
In
me.
my
That was
opinion,
what do you call it? A sadism. That is.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
just
Mm,
it's just enjoy it. Could you just be like shoot yourself?
mm.
But no, it's that, yeah, like you say, sadism.
Oh, the other thing with
Uh,
the polarity thing as well was like Andres just gets this news that if you use your powers, you're going to end up like your dad, sort of thing, and it's just it's cumulative brain damage over a lot of time. And Andre says this to his dad, Dad, this our powers are killing us. And his dad just cuts him off and said, no, your polarity now. You've got to be there
Yeah.
for the family and all the rest, really sort of laying it on him, and I thought, "Oh god, he's still a cunt." Yeah,
Yeah, they're
um,
just obsessed with fame, aren't they?
yeah,
Sort of obsessed with um, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Not power so much, but
mm,
yeah, influence. Power and influence and fame. It's the money. Do you know what I
mm.
mean? It's like you need to do whatever you need to do. It's probably like those YouTube videos of people who just like eat 5,000 calories in one sitting. Stuff their faces with big piles of
Anything for
chips and
views,
stuff.
yeah.
So it's just to sort of like, people would go, "You're disgusting," but they make money out of it. It's like it's exactly the same thing.
It
People will
must be
just
some
do
sort of,
anything.
like, weird fascination with watching someone kill themselves, slowly.
Abs- Absolutely, yeah. But if the more
Yeah.
you make that stuff normal, then it just makes you desensitized to people dying. And stuff. I mean, that's always
Mm.
been a problem in the media for years, isn't it? That we make too many violent movies, so that it just becomes like we don't really care about it. I don't really think that's necessarily true with
No,
violent
I mean, I
movies. I
play a
don't
lot
think
of
it make.
violent I mean, both of us play,
Yeah, yeah,
quite
video
violent
games and
and stuff
stuff
like
like
that,
that.
but, I
Yeah,
mean, I don't wanna go
I
out
never
and kill
really.
anybody.
Yeah, I never believed any of that stuff that they make you violent. I mean, of course, there's always some kind of outlier. There's always some kind of lunatic. There always is. But I mean, but some people get violent just watching the news. It's
Mhm.
like, but most of the time, people can tell the difference between entertainment and
Yeah,
I
melting
don't
it.
feel like
Yeah.
I'm killing a person when I kill a computer
No, it's a
program.
game. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think obviously people with, uh, severe mental illness is, obviously there's a difference between, I think a lot of teenagers who go out and shoot people, they get it into their heads, the fantasy is real sort of thing, and, they think it's gonna be glorious. It's a fucked up
Mm.
way of thinking basically, and they just allow themselves to sort of embrace whatever fucked up fantasy they've got, and they're gonna go out and murder people, but it's
Yeah,
not it's nothing
I
to
don't.
do
I
with
don't know.
media.
I don't know if I agree. Um,
Mm,
I think most of that stuff is just very lonely people, and I
mm.
think that's so I don't think that's like I think it's pitiable, but I don't mean
Yeah,
that in a
yeah.
negative way. I mean it's like it's sad.
Mm.
It's sad that someone can be so. I think they just feel that the world hates them, and it probably does. That's the problem, isn't it? As you get to an adult, you realise that whoever you are, whichever demographic, there's always going to be a large section of the population that just really doesn't like you, despite what kind of a person you are. And
Yeah,
that's quite a bit of pill to swallow. I think that's part of adulthood, isn't it?
yeah,
You have to accept the fact that sometimes it doesn't matter what you do. Some people are just going to fucking hate you, and
yeah,
it's how you deal with that.
yeah.
But as a young person, it's kind of really you feel completely isolated. So you think, well, fuck you then.
Mm.
If I'm gonna, I'm fucking gonna, if there are no consequences, what's the point? If there's no fairness in the world, then it doesn't matter if I go and kill a load of
It's gotten
people.
a bit of a dark turn, hasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird because none of this was in the boys, but like, I think it's just us. But
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Anyway,
Back to Gen V. Sorry. There's a good scene because Ashley's back in it, and I was like, I like
yeah,
Ashley.
swearing a
So
lot.
swearing a lot, which is what she does, and she's so they're having a board meeting. They're looking for someone to join the Seven, and they're just sort of, I think they're looking at Andre, and they're like, "What's this guy? Special powers?" And then she goes, "Fucking British accent," because that's listed as one of his special attributes or something. She's like,
Yeah,
"Fuck's
special
sake."
talent. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was quite funny. It's good to see Ashley. I like her.
Yeah, I do as
And
well.
but yeah, then it's then I think it goes down into the woods, and it's like half empty again down there, and there's just one guard or maybe two guards. Sam punches some guy's head in, like
And rips
quite
his brain out.
severely. Yeah, just punches his fist right inside his head. Like his head doesn't move, but his hand just goes right in. That was pretty horrible.
Yeah.
Um, poor old Sam is like, the end of the last episode, he was like, he went to that rally, didn't he? And like,
He's only
all of a
just
sudden
got
now he's
out.
a fucking
He's got
yeah,
more of an excuse than Kate because Kate's she's had a few years of being a normal person, whereas he's been locked up for
Yeah.
life. And they have been
Yeah.
experimenting on him, taking his blood
Yeah.
and giving it to his brother and then knocking him out and then making him forget and all of that,
Yeah.
you know?
I still to be honest, I still didn't quite buy the fact that he would sort of, turn into this sort of like slightly fascist,
Yeah, it's a bit
sort of
quick.
like yeah,
Yeah.
it was too quick, and then, like, he turned on Emma and stuff, like, we're superior and all that. I didn't buy it.
Mm.
He seemed like quite a sensitive guy,
Yeah, he does,
like,
doesn't he?
um,
Yeah.
um and a good character, I thought, he like with loads and loads of potential and stuff. I just didn't buy it that he would go to some fucking meeting where a couple of people are wearing MAGA hats and now all of a sudden he's a thing. Presumably that's some comment about why we should probably ban people that we
Wearing
don't like
hats.
on yeah, we should ban that stuff. People go speaking on on campuses because it's instantly going to change people into fascists, which I don't believe
No, that's
you know.
bullshit. Yeah.
But I think maybe
Yeah.
that's what they're trying to say there, and if that's the case, I think that was a mistake because it's just not true. It
Mm.
just doesn't have people aren't that fucking easily influenced. Um, so I thought
No.
that was a bit weird. I mean, I can understand Kate; she's fucking losing her mind, you know. But yeah, Sam, I don't know, I didn't get that. But they unlock the cells eventually, and we see some kind of weird characters we've never seen before. Sort of, and we
Yeah, they
think,
had
oh
some quite
fucking hell,
interesting powers. I wish we could have spent a bit of time with them really, because
yeah.
there was one guy who could shout, like I think there was one called Banshee from another. I don't know, it was DC or Marvel, but shout really loud, and I think he could. I think it was the same guy. He could burn people's faces off with his hands, and then
Yeah.
there was
Wouldn't
one that was like feral, where he could go invisible or teleport. I'm not sure, and then he was
yeah, it was a
sort
bit
of
like
like,
Nightcrawler, wasn't he?
yeah, 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 yeah,
Sort of like popping in and out and jumping about. Yeah, I mean, because yeah, quite quickly we were like, "Oh fuck!" It's like some of these people deserve to be down there, but like, I don't know. Again, it's like, they weren't down there because they were sort of criminal tendencies. They
yeah.
were down there just purely to be experimented on, but like they've all turned into lunatics.
Yeah,
You know,
because they mentioned
and
that one that Andy guy who they gave the disease to and killed him, and Sam said, "Oh well, yeah, he had bipolar." I mean, they trying to say like everybody in there had like mental problems.
I don't know. Yeah, I know what you're saying. It kind of seemed like they were doing the right thing by keeping them down there. And I wonder if that's what they were trying to
Yeah, but
explain with the other guys saying they shouldn't let them out. I don't know.
no, but
But it's
even if you're bipolar or schizophrenic, which are the most severe, or obviously psychopathic, even if you've got those bipolar and schizophrenia, it doesn't you don't need to be locked up all the time. It's just
no,
when you go psychotic, which is a
no,
byproduct of having those mental, and not all schizophrenic people or bipolar people are violent.
no, exactly.
Very few of them. It's
Yeah,
a very small percentage that are actually violent to other people, and it's generally when they're psychotic and they have no ability. Their mind is telling them that all this information that is false, and if your brain tells you that, you're going to believe it. Like
yeah,
the hallucinations, the auditory hallucinations. It's your brain telling you something that is there that isn't, and generally they hurt themselves rather than I mean, obviously it goes in the paper and it's a big, um, but like I know schizophrenics who are outpatients. They don't have to take drugs, but they choose to take antipsychotics so that you can lead a fairly normal life. Some of them have jobs, and you wouldn't know, or they're artists or something. They make their own living, so
yeah,
you wouldn't necessarily have to. You only have to lock people up when they're psychotic, which means that they're a threat to themselves or they're a threat to society. And
mm,
that's the only time you need to do that. And if you can treat them, with all kinds of therapies, and sooner or later, there's very, very, very small amount of people on the planet that have to be locked up for life because some people cannot be treated. The drugs don't work, the talking therapies don't
mm.
work, but it's a very, very small percentage of people with mental illness. And although schizophrenia and sorry, I've gone off on now. Schizophrenia and bipolar, which both are very serious mental disorders, when they go wrong. I don't know what my point was now, but basically, yeah, if you've got it, it doesn't mean you're going to automatically be locked up, until you,
Yeah,
you,
no,
you go psychotic.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, it didn't make sense because we saw in a previous episode they were just sort of like kind of normal down there, and they were just sort of
Yeah,
like,
they
"Geez, that's
did.
that."
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it didn't kind of make sense, and there was only a few of them that got out. um, so I don't know, only the bad ones it seems. So I wasn't sure what the point was.
Yeah, they mean like they,
Um,
they, they suddenly get let out of an asylum, and automatically they're going to start murdering everybody.
yeah,
It was a
so
bit quick,
yeah,
and
and
I mean
it's
if they're
if they're
also
trying to,
if they're trying to if they're being experimented on to control them, and if they do have a mental illness, they'll be more than likely be on antipsychotics, which would control their psychosis, which would mean that they wouldn't be murderous anyway, unless they're psychopathic. And they're not all psychopathic. It's not the
yeah,
same thing. It's a different being psychopathic is completely different from being psychotic.
absolutely,
Sorry,
yeah.
I just
But
yeah,
it's no, you're right. We Sam sees his own cell that he used to live in down there, and sees Luke. So here's another hallucination of his brother,
yeah,
who's basically telling him, "You need to like, don't you're about to do something stupid. Don't do that." Sort of
yeah.
thing. Which is like, okay, yeah, cool, makes sense, man. Um, but he kind of dismisses. He just dismisses it. Kate's, going around fucking with all the rest of the guards' minds and stuff. She tells that guy to eat his own hands.
Mm.
For not it's not a very nice thing to do. And
Yeah,
he's
she
like,
needs to
okay,
die now. She's gone. Yeah, she's gone full mental. Yeah,
yeah. Um, and then yeah, so then we see the crazy people running outside, burning people's faces off and stuff. The other students. It's
mm.
weird because one guy was like, "Are you a soup?" And she was like, "No," or something like that. Or no, no, he was like, "Are you a soup?" And yeah, and some woman says, "No, I'm not." And he
Yeah.
goes, "Oh no, one. Sorry, I fucking totally got this wrong." He goes to one person, "Are you a soup?" And he's like, "Yeah, duh." And he leaves him alone. And then he goes
Rufus.
to another woman,
Yeah,
says, "Are you a soup?" And she goes, "No." And he burns her face off. I wasn't quite sure what that was all about. Is that because he's just believes that they're superior? I didn't understand where that come from.
yeah.
Like,
And
why
they
would
did
you make
maybe
that decision if
maybe
you're on a murderous
a few.
rampage? You just pick anyone.
Needed a few more scenes in previous episodes that this movement was an actual thing, and like maybe some of the inmates of the woods, were getting
Yeah,
together and saying, "Yeah, I can't stand norms, and we're all being tortured, and this
yeah,
is why I maybe want to." Because they all go out and they go bananas. They all just start
yeah.
murdering everybody, which
I think
is
I think it shouldn't have been there. I think it was a mistake to sort of add that in because it just
yeah,
convoluted the story. It would have
mm,
been much easier to believe if the people were going, causing violence because they'd been locked up and mistreated.
mm.
Rather
Yeah,
than,
they could have left it at
um, you,
that. Yeah, rather
rather
than
than
being some
it's also
political movement.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Like, coming
yeah,
literally, if you're going to, on a murderous rampage, asking people where they stand on a political spectrum, like, it's
yeah.
a bit fucking weird, because you would just kill them. You wouldn't ask them.
Mm.
It didn't make any sense. I think it was a mistake because it just sort of, and it just took away any sympathy you had for the poor people who were locked up
Yeah,
because, like they were implying that, well, they were, Vought did the right thing by locking them up because they were
Yeah,
mental.
right. Yeah.
But then why would you lock them up under the school? It didn't make sense.
Mm.
Um, we also see that guy. Excuse me, tickly cough today. There was a guy who was in the episode before.
Jeff.
Um, is it Jeff? Yeah, that's right. He apparently he turns out he's working for Vought or
Yeah.
something, and he's sort of feeding information back. Um, and he puts a bomb in. So he's got like a sonic weapon, which like one of the crazy women is about to kill him. So he uses this sonic weapon, and they're all like, "That's all very convenient. Doesn't work on normal people." And then he puts like a little bomb in her mouth and blows it up, kills her. Um, and sort of then Kate comes along and says, "Right, we're going to live stream this," and she does like a
Yeah,
live
she's gone
stream of
full
him.
Hitler now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And the people in the boardroom, the
I did have some
board.
sympathy for her, but this episode just she's just sadistic, and that's not cool.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I thought she was always a bit sadistic, but I did sort of grow to like her a bit because I
Mm,
thought she was all right, and you could kind of understand where she's coming from. But she
mm.
seemed kind of sweet. Not that a woman should be sweet or nothing like that, but like she seemed kind of genuinely, despite all the shit she's been through, she seemed
She
kind of
seemed
okay.
vulnerable. Yeah, she'd had a
Yeah,
hard time, and
and she was
you
dealing
can
with it, and
you can accept a few mistakes, maybe a bit of cruelty here and
of
there, but
course.
this just seems this she's gone full Hitler now. So
Yeah, it's
yeah.
like they changed writers. I mean, there is problems with the whole series. I think where things keep changing.
Mm,
It's almost like they've started writing something, put an episode out, and then gone, oh no, 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 let's do it differently in the next episode, and it shows. I think, especially that whole stuff with like Tech Night, just kind of didn't have to do with anything, but it took up a whole episode.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, that sort of stuff. And then this one with Sam and Kate just sort of changing the way they sort of think. Um,
Yeah, because he seemed
but
like a little boy, and he's not
yeah,
necessarily gonna wanna butcher everybody either, you know? And he stopped doing
no,
the puppet thing now, so you're just thinking, "Oh,"
yeah,
when he was going when, he'd have like, if
yeah,
you
yeah,
ran
the
into
puppet
a
stuff, yeah,
yeah. So you could sort of explain that away with like, oh, maybe he has gone psychotic because he's seeing things, and, no one who's psychotic is to blame for that. They're just
yeah. But
they're mentally
he
ill,
seems sort of confused. He
Yeah,
was sort of confused and not really sure why it's all happened or what he's done to deserve it and all that kind of stuff. But then now all of a sudden he really knows his own mind, and he's
yeah.
willing to like sacrifice his girlfriend, who's effectively his girlfriend, and
Yeah,
because his
they break
politics are more
up.
important. Yeah. So yeah, so they have an argument, and he's just like, you only did this to help yourself, and all this kind of shit. And I was felt quite bad for poor old Emma there,
Yeah.
because like, yeah, I mean,
She's trying to pull him back from the brink, but he's seeing it as like someone else is trying to tell me what to do, um, and he makes her feel
yeah,
really small, and this is when we find out that she can actually become small or large
yeah, that's the
through
interesting. I noticed that as well, and they're like she turned small without being sick.
yeah,
So she just like thing, and all of a sudden, so this is her sort of delving a bit more into her power. So when she
yeah.
feels small, it's not the being sick that makes her feel small. It's
It's a mental
the
yeah, it's a
mental feeling of feeling, like
small
so
or
whenever you're
feeling
sick,
large, yeah,
yeah. So if you're going to throw up, to make yourself thin, you're doing the wrong thing. So it makes you feel small because you
and
think
it
it's a
and
weakness,
also,
and so you
obviously,
become small.
she's got, obviously, it she's got, like, no sort of self-respect, and that's what's made her feel small, and so she goes small, and things like that, and so when, teenagers hate themselves and stuff like that, so yeah, and mum's taught her how to do that, and now she knows that she doesn't need it, which should be quite freeing for her, so hopefully she'll
Yeah,
feel large at some point and, really go massive. That'd be great to see that,
yeah,
um,
confidence sort of thing. I don't
yeah,
know. We'll see. I mean,
um,
yeah, I felt really, really bad for her. That was
I
pretty
did too,
terrible.
yeah. She's trying to
Um,
do the right thing. She doesn't want him to go nuts, and she likes him, and I think he broke her heart a little bit there.
oh,
Um,
totally, yeah,
yeah,
totally. Because she, was active. She was vulnerable to him, and all that kind of stuff. And like, but I mean, again, I don't think it didn't really ring true for me because I don't think he would
mm.
have done that. He seemed genuinely sort of not even in love, because he's only just met her,
He did. He
but
loved
like,
her. Yeah, they were
like,
besotted. Yeah.
yeah, I don't think he would just be like, sorry, now I've got, you know, um, politics, effectively, you know what I mean? I've got this now. I don't need you. I
Now I
didn't
can
believe it.
murder without anybody. I mean, it's just
Yeah,
this idea. As soon as they're let out, they just start murdering everybody. It's just that's a big
yeah,
step. You know.
yeah. It
Um,
didn't make sense.
so
It's a
uh,
shame.
then I think Sam's hallucinating his brother, and he's talking to Kate, and his brother's saying, "No, don't do this," and Kate says to him, "Feel nothing." So she's turned him into a psychopath. Because
Oh
most
yeah,
psychopaths only feel self pity and boredom. They don't have anything else. They don't have empathy. They don't have guilt or anything like that. They feel rage, anger, and self pity is the main thing. So she's taken all of that away from him as well, like empathy and that kind of stuff. Then he's just going to turn into a massive psychopath now, which he does.
yeah.
Um, so
Yeah,
yeah,
so there's a lot of mayhem going on.
yeah,
Jordan, Jordan and Maria are like, okay. Jordan's like, Shetty's got a button underneath her desk that will lock down the whole school. So that's handy.
yeah.
And also handy, she knows where it is. So she goes, well, I'll go and do that then. So Maria goes and presses this button, and all the shutters come down and stuff. And fucking, I don't know, just lock them all in with these lunatics. It didn't really make sense. And then you realise at this point that the Vought meeting is actually in the building, because I thought
Yeah.
when Ashley was
Why?
talking, yeah, oh yeah, it didn't make sense. Why would they there?
Yeah.
But, they would be in Vought Towers or something. Shetty was supposed to be there,
Mm,
their sort of go between or whatever. Why would they need to? Why would they go there? Didn't make
mhm,
sense. But they're basically sort of looking out the window now, like, oh fucking hell, what the hell's going on? And they activate this sonic whistle that they've got, which only affects supes.
mhm.
Um, interesting though, there is such a thing in real life that I'm not sure if they banned in Britain, but there are these whistles, but they're like anti-teenager deterrents. This
Oh
is a
no,
real,
I think they're
this,
allowed. I think I did go
yeah,
to court because
but it's a real thing, yeah, and
it's a real thing where
frequency that only teenagers can hear, not because they're teenagers, but because their ears are more sensitive, and as you get older, the
that's
hairs
right.
break off, so you can't hear those high frequencies. But it's kind of it annoys them, it upsets them, it's not painful such. Well, some people say it is painful, but it's
Yeah,
like it just makes it's like fuck that, and so people put it outside
it
their
makes them
shops to stop
uncomfortable.
hanging around nicking or selling fags for 10p or whatever kids do these days.
Yeah, there was a court case about it because it was
Selling
like
sex.
human rights or something. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think teenagers and I think it's anyone under 25 because your hearing gets shot after that apparently.
Yeah,
So,
it's true. Yeah, the hairs on your in your ear, they just start. They're very very fine at the end, and they break off naturally. It's just the way things are. But
yeah,
it means you can't pick up the certain frequencies. But yeah,
yeah.
apparently this noise is quite unpleasant. So I don't know if they knew anything about that,
Well, I
but
suppose if you're a soup and you've got a super hearing, it would be fairly unpleasant. But
I
yeah,
don't know. But they're all different. That's the thing. I didn't understand why would it affect them. You
yeah,
know, if they're, because not all of them have super hearing. Do you know
yeah.
what I
I
mean?
don't
Otherwise,
think
they'll all be
so.
whispering to each other, or anytime anyone slammed the door, they'd all be like, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, do you mean all you need to do is go around and like pop a balloon, and they'd all be on their knees. Bloody kids.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe they'll try that
um,
next time.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
Yeah, so it's a
Actually,
lot of chaos
Pokemon.
going on. People are getting murdered.
No
Um,
police, no nothing like that. There's just,
uh,
nothing at all.
yeah, no security. Marie finds a new way of using her powers again. So she does quite a few different things. She stops someone's heart. She can sense
Yeah,
where the invisible guy is through his blood.
yeah,
Um, and then she picks up the blood out of the aftermath of everyone lying, dead around her, and threw it at some guy to kill him, saving
yeah,
Ashley, because I suppose they couldn't kill Ashley off. And yeah, so she's found a lot of different ways now to use her powers. So
yeah. It's weird in a way. They're sort of, defending Vought. Really, it's like you shouldn't let
yeah,
the people out, and I'll save Ashley. Um, Andre saves a helicopter by using his powers, and I thought, oh, he's going to die. He's going to use his powers one last time for good. I don't know why he did it. Just let it
well, I suppose
crash.
he had to, didn't
Um,
he? Yeah. I mean, it's like his whole
um,
family's been sort of bought by Vought from a young age. I mean, his dad's polarity,
yeah,
so it's he probably
or
thought he was
maybe
doing the
it's
right
because
thing because, there's as supes, they've
maybe
got more power and they should protect the weak, maybe, maybe because they did think, I mean, Marie thought she was doing the right thing by stopping the supes murdering everybody. And then guess who turns up? Homelander.
yes, yeah. So yeah, Homelander turns up. Um, yeah, I mean, there's a bit before that where sort of Maria, um, Kate. Oh, hang on, was it? Yeah, Kate is about to sort of fuck with Jordan's
Oh,
mind,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and Maria blows up her hand, which is quite good. So she reaches out to touch Jordan, and she just blows her arm off at the elbow. So she's like proper, like
I
oh,
was
like
wondering
cool, you managed.
if you take both her hands off, will she still be able to influence people? Is it just through her hands? I mean,
I don't know.
she can read people's minds from a distance, but I think she actually has to
Yeah,
physically, like Rufus has to physically touch
yeah, she
you
has to
to.
touch you. Yeah, I mean, she's still got another hand, and maybe
But
it'll work with her feet or something.
who
People are
knows?
adaptable, aren't they?
Yeah,
You know, or maybe it doesn't need to be skin. Maybe it's just I don't know.
don't
She
know.
could use it with her head or something. She could dab her nose on someone.
Is she
Um,
going to be able to grow back her arm?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I doubt it. I don't think she's got that power. But or maybe Maria will grow her in your arm.
Maybe.
I kind of thought Maria was going to become like, oh, I'll just heal you, or some shit like that. Probably will happen.
I suppose. Oh
Um,
God, yeah, that would be a. Then she'd be too powerful. You've got to be a bit careful about giving too many two powers, otherwise, you know what I mean. It's going to be difficult to write your way out of that. If you make somebody super ridiculously powerful.
yeah,
Yeah. Anyway.
absolutely. So yeah, then sort of right, all in the middle of this, Homelander turns up, and they're all like, oh shit, um, you
Yeah.
know, like everything just stops. Even the lunatic, crazy
It's
people, they're
nice
all
to
just
see
like,
Anthony
fuck.
Starr again. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. But I mean, he doesn't have a lot to do,
No.
obviously, in this episode. It is pretty much just a cameo, just
Paycheck,
looking the
isn't it?
same as he. It's a paycheck for him. But it was good to see him. I was like, Homelander. Um, but he basically just sort of like basically sort of looks a bit malevolent, and he's like, right, I will stop all this. And then he says something to Maria. He
He
says,
says, "What kind of
"Y- y-
animal
y-
are you?"
"Yeah, that's right."
She's like,
And
"What?"
then she's like, "What?" I thought kills her basically. But he just gets his eyes and goes, brrr, blows her up like that, and then it just goes blank for a bit. And then basically we sort of cut to a scene, and like they're all basically locked up. So, and you think it's like another version of the woods, but it looks a bit kind of
It's probably at Vault
sophisticated,
Towers or something because they
Vault
locked
Towers
up
or something.
they locked up Queen Maeve, didn't they, in one of these
Yeah.
places? Yeah,
So they're in a room with no doors, and there's Andre, Emma, Maria, and Jordan are there. Um, and I was like, "Where are Kate and Sam?" but then there's another bit with Homelander watching the TV, and there's like a news broadcast, and they're going on about another disaster with the supes and stuff, but these two young people saved the day, sort of thing, and it was like Kate and Sam pictures of them, and I was like, oh fuck, and Homelander's grinning his head off, so he's got
Yeah.
like in a way two, I don't know, proteges or maybe they're just doing the
Well,
chaotic work
he's
that he
all for
wants to do,
like
and he doesn't have to do
superiority,
it.
isn't he? He's
Yeah,
all for the superiority of soups. I mean, his girlfriend's Nazi, so this
yeah.
is that he would approve of that.
I like
And
that. I liked her. That character. She was so fucking just.
she was
It was
so
such a fucking
bananas.
ridiculous idea, but it was
Yeah.
just. It was just like
She had
an
SS
actual
earrings.
Nazi.
Yeah, she's an
Yeah.
actual Nazi.
Did
Like,
she have SS earrings?
yeah, well, they
I
were done
didn't.
in the shape of lightning, because she could do lightning, but it was the SS. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
SS, but it was in a lightning strike sort of thing.
I thought that
Yeah,
was hilarious.
yeah.
That whole character because it was just like just the
She's
thing. Like you would have thought someone in the writers' room would be like, we can't do this. We just can't do it.
yeah.
But
Her
like they're just
best
going,
mate
fuck
was
it, we'll do it.
Himmler. Yeah, and
Yeah,
she went
and
dancing
she
with Himmler.
and she was horrible as well. She was just sort of smug and
Yeah, she
just a
was
bit of a
she was
twat.
horrendous. Yeah,
But she was popular, or something. What they're trying to say there.
Homefront. Was it Homefront or something like that? Stormfront. Stormfront was her
Stormfront,
name.
yeah.
Yeah, what
Um,
was her
but
name?
I thought that was quite funny. But so that's kind of where we leave it with them. So they're locked up. They don't know where they are, and
Yeah,
so presumably with Vought,
I would say that they were locked up with Vought, and
because but unless Homelander's got doing something on the side, you know,
mm,
like without Vought, but like it didn't make sense. It didn't explain how he incapacitated all of them. I would have thought the laser beam eyes thing wouldn't have knocked you out. It would have killed you. So I don't
yeah,
know why he showed restraint then. We didn't see him knock anyone else out. We didn't see any aftermath of the school of
all the
what
dead
happened. There's
bodies
no,
everywhere. Yeah,
you know what I mean? There's none of that at all. Um, so it's just gone straight to second season sort of
yeah,
territory, and it has got a second season I read, but and there's a little after credits scene down in the woods, and who turns up but Butcher,
Butcher.
who says something rude.
Well, I mean, I suppose
And then a sort of cheeky cockney smile towards the camera, like, yep, it's me. Which I
yeah,
was like, I don't know if that was necessary. But
it was good to see
yeah,
him as well.
I mean, it
Yeah,
was good to see him, but I think it could have been, they could have done
better.
something a bit more
Yeah,
interesting with both of them, because literally they just turned up and smiled, which is the sort of George Clooney method of acting.
yeah.
I think we talked about this before, like George Clooney now, just like he doesn't
It
act
just
in movies,
turns
he just
up.
does cameos and just goes,
Yeah,
yep, that's
it's
right.
me.
It's me. You weren't expecting that, were you? Grinning.
Yeah.
And like everyone's supposed to be like, wow, it's George Clooney. What a nice tan you've got. Um,
Mm.
yeah, so I could have done with more of that, but it's even then, it still was like made me look forward to the boys a lot more.
Well,
You
that's
know,
coming out soon, isn't it? And
hopefully,
also, sort of story-wise, the boys could use Marie, Jordan, and if they, you know what I mean, because they seem like decent people and want to protect normies, so they could maybe use them as part of their crew. They've got
yeah,
Starlight, but they've got well, that's it really. They've got Starlight, haven't they? And then they've got
yeah. Maybe.
the
I mean,
maybe.
I just think it's like with the boys and that because they're all older. It makes them very different people. They're just not interested in really in sort of the
Teenage stuff,
politics.
yeah.
Yeah, they're just not interested in that. I've been, someone was nasty to me, therefore I should, it's kind of. I mean, yeah, they do have that, I suppose, but they're more. It's more entrenched,
Mm,
sort of in their personalities.
mm.
I don't know. They're more multifaceted rather than just, my parents were horrible to me and that's why I hurt people.
Yeah,
Do you
right,
know what I mean?
yeah.
Which a lot of this was, and that's basically the end. But like I said earlier, I mean I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it, but I think there were like weird cul-de-sacs, like the whole Tech Night thing. Just didn't go anywhere at all. It just didn't add
Mm.
anything. You could have taken that episode out. It didn't really make a lot of
They
sense.
maybe could have done with, like, a couple more episodes to fill it out a little bit, because it's still
Yeah,
I wasn't really buying, like, a lot of it in the last
yeah.
episode. I wasn't really buying it.
No, that it's almost felt rushed.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I get it. You got to put sort of conflict within characters, and stuff like the
Mm,
whole Emma and Sam thing. Yeah, they could have some conflict between them, but I think that was sort of there anyway.
mm,
She alluded to the fact that he had the potential to be pretty horrible,
mm.
but like his personality just changed.
Yeah.
It's almost like the writers were like, okay, well, we need him to be evil now.
Yeah, they
So how do we do that? Oh, well, we'll send him to one rally with people wearing MAGA hats. Oh, well,
mm,
that'll do it then. Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
that would happen. It just doesn't work like that. You know what I mean?
mm.
People are not influenced just by going to see someone speak. It's just not true. I didn't buy it at all, and especially for him then to just not care about his friends and
Well,
fuck off his
the only
girlfriend. And
the only thing I could say that would make that for real is that Rufus did touch him in the last episode. Rufus,
yeah,
and he's
he's
one of
like
the
makes people forget stuff, doesn't he?
yeah, makes but also he can influence. He's a psychic as well, isn't he?
Yeah,
So I don't know. He did touch him, and there was a scene where that the camera showed him Rufus touching Sam, but I don't know.
yeah,
I
maybe.
don't know.
I didn't really like. I didn't understand. I thought that character Rufus was a bit could probably have been taken out. I think it
Yeah,
was too confusing because I just don't understand why anyone would have that guy. Like, why is he still walking around? Like, they
yeah,
wouldn't just let him walk around an open school full of men and women to fucking like have sex with,
yeah,
and they knowing that that's pretty much what he does. That's his fucking name.
yeah. Well, I don't know why they
You
have an
know,
invisible guy fucking animals in his dorm. I
that was
mean,
stupid as well.
uh,
That whole thing was stupid. Then I mean, we did find out that he was that guy's son, the invisible guy from The Boys, the first series.
yeah,
Transparent, was that his name? Trans
translucent,
something.
translucent.
Translucent, that's it, yeah. He was quite a good character because he was a bit of a pervert and evil. But like, oh, he's his son.
Yeah,
That's just the
yeah.
explanation, and you know what I mean. And like, and he, I thought it was bollocks. Yeah, but they put that in right at the end.
Mm.
I mean, there was a lot of nonsense,
Could
really.
have
I
been
mean,
better. Yeah.
it could have been a lot better. And like I say, there's some weird changes in this one at the episode. I kind of, at this point, I'm not sure. Maria's supposed to be the focus of the story, I think, but I don't really agree with a lot of stuff she's done in the last couple of episodes. Really,
Mm.
you know what I mean? It's I didn't understand why she didn't want to help those people. Like down in the woods, like you said.
Yeah,
Surely, if they'd have gone
that
down
makes
there
no
and been a bit
sense. Yeah.
like, we're here to help you, but you need to be careful, sort of thing, then maybe all that carnage wouldn't have happened.
They
Do
could
you
have
know what
just
I mean?
led them
Rather than
out,
just,
safely got them somewhere safe. Yeah.
yeah, or at least, someone could have like called the police or something, and said that we're all being, you know, experimented on by fucking Vought. I mean, I know Vought are a powerful
Yeah, they had
company,
they had the
but
notes, they had
like,
the files in the office. They could have just, they could
I
have
mean,
sent it to the media if the media aren't
they made it.
bought, but
Well, yeah, I mean, they had
mm,
all this thing about that. All them, some of them are just really obsessed with their phones. There's one scene in this actually when someone's like, the Wi-Fi's gone down, and they start screaming at each other. These two
yeah.
girls, which was quite funny. It's like there's no Wi-Fi, but like they're always on their phones. So like you would have thought someone would be like, "This is what's happening. This is what Vought is
Yeah, you could
doing."
photograph
You
it
would have
and
thought
send
they'd
it
all
into the
been
internet. That'll be that.
they'd
Yeah.
live stream it, yeah, send it into
Mm.
the internet. Yeah, just you'd be live streaming it, wouldn't you? Like you'd upload it onto the interwebs. Yeah, but
Yeah.
like, that didn't happen. It was a bit. I
Like,
mean,
I think it was rushed. Yeah, yeah,
unbelievable. I mean, the whole thing about it, it's superhero powers, it's unbelievable. But I think the why The Boys was good is because it kind of made it believable.
yeah,
Like it existed in today's world and what people would be like and the way we
yeah,
would revere these people and all that stuff. But like this, it was all in a bubble just on this campus. Didn't
mm,
seem to be an outside world at all
mm,
in this show. So I think there was lots of things wrong with it. But
mm.
saying that, I did
Yeah,
enjoy it.
I'll watch it again, definitely.
Um,
Not that I'll watch the second season when it comes out. Yeah, but I'm looking forward
I'm
to The
sure.
Boys, so,
Looking
yeah.
forward to The Boys. Hopefully that's hopefully they've done something you know good with that. Um, I want to
Yeah,
see more of what fucking Homelander's up to. Big stakes, because he
mm,
literally could just like fly through the planet and destroy the whole thing.
mm,
He could do that. He's just a fucking mentalist.
mm,
And like there's nothing anyone could do. You just have to capitulate to him, otherwise he'll murder you.
mm,
Um, and you know, I don't know. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. But I thought this was good. I'll definitely watch it again.
mm.
There were problems with it, but it was good. It's something to yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
it's
should
been
leave it
interesting.
there then.
We should leave it there then, yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see what's coming out next. I'm sure there's a few different things coming out
We were
very
gonna do
soon.
Ahsoka, weren't we? We maybe do that next week.
We'll maybe do a Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, talk about that. That should be fun.
Mm.
Ugh. Have you seen it?
No, I've got the episodes out, but I've been a bit
All
busy
right.
this week with certain things, so
Yeah. Sovereign. I've been watching Scavenger's Reign. It's still really, really good. It's just bizarre, really different. Really enjoyed that. The Marvels is coming out next week, but I'm not going to see it because I
I
don't
don't
want to
want
give them
to.
any of my money.
Yeah,
If you go and see it even for morbid curiosity, then you're just supporting it. You
yeah.
know what I mean? I don't want to give them my money. So
It doesn't look
but
very
saying
good.
no, it doesn't look very good. I'm sure it's going to be terrible. Well, I don't know. I don't. I'm
It's
sure they're
not
going to
worth
put a load of.
15 quid anyway.
I, I heard a rumor they were going to put a cameo of fucking Robert Downey Jr. in it, even though Iron Man's dead. And
Yeah,
there's a lot of talk
it's
about
not a
Marvel
great
are thinking
idea.
about getting the original Avengers back together, probably a multiverse thing, in order to revive
Let's
Marvel.
not do
But
multiverse again.
I don't think. Did you watch the
Um,
South Park Into the Pandaverse?
I tried to watch it actually, but it wasn't that funny, to be honest. It,
No, I thought
no,
bits of it were funny.
I mean, yeah, I mean,
Um,
but they're just doing stuff that everybody else has been saying for the last 15 years, so it's not really.
well, I mean, I suppose the interesting thing about it is that ever since they did that episode, everyone's been talking about it,
Oh,
and a
because
lot
now
of
it's
media.
allowed. Yeah, well, I
Well,
mean,
I
that's a
think
bit
a lot of
lame, isn't it?
mainstream media have sort of
Yeah.
like not talking about that. They don't want to side against a big company like Disney.
Mm.
But for some reason now South Park's done it. Everywhere they're all doing it. So there's a few big articles in
God,
big
human beings are so
newspapers.
pathetic.
Yeah.
Like, you need
So,
permission, to have your own
well,
opinion.
yeah, well, exactly. But that's the thing,
Mm.
isn't it? Everything comes with consequences these days. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like having an
I
opinion on
suppose,
stuff
yeah.
can lose you your living.
Mm.
If you disagree with the majority, sort of thing, or the
Mm.
minority, depending. So there's a lot of fear about it. So it's not, but now the big people are starting to do it
Mm.
because it is justified. Like the
Yeah.
criticism,
Oh,
definitely.
definitely. Yeah, oh god, yeah,
Um,
they've ruined it. They've ruined everything.
They have ruined it, but it was quite interesting the South
Mm.
Park thing because like they sort of, although they made fun of Kathleen Kennedy, they did let her off a bit lightly, but they kind of showed it from her point of view as well,
Mm.
which is that it's all the criticism, all the nasty emails and stuff. It made me out. It made me do this, and
Mm.
which in a way is kind of like you can sort of understand a little
Yeah.
bit. If you have, I mean, if you've got power and people piss you off, you're gonna eventually you're gonna use it. So
Yeah.
I mean, I've thought for years that Catherine Kennedy is just the biggest troll. She's just a troll. She knows that all this stuff she's doing is going to upset people, but she's doing it anyway because
Right.
as long
Yeah.
as people are talking about it, then they're going to make money. Because nowadays it doesn't. It's not the content.
Mm.
It's as long as people click on the link, you've made the money. It doesn't
But
matter
it's
if it's
such a
any good.
massive waste of money and effort. I
Yeah, exactly.
mean,
That's the point. So I thought it was interesting they did that because they could have been
mm,
totally shit, horrible to her. But I thought that was, maybe those guys are growing up. But like, I
mm.
mean, they were nasty to her as well with the whole, um,
I might watch it again.
put a
Maybe I
chick in
wasn't in
it,
the mood
put a
for
chick in
it.
it, make her
Yeah.
gay. Put a chick in it,
Mm,
make her gay and lame. I
yeah.
thought it was funny. I mean, it's a different sort of South Park these days, Um, it's not the same. I
No.
still like South Park, but I don't watch it as often. I don't even
Yeah.
because I think now they bring out sort of like one-off episodes and stuff rather than a
They're
series.
doing a
I
whole
don't really know.
series. Yeah.
I used to be a huge fan. Oh, well, I am a fan.
I am a fan.
I,
I'm a fan. I mean, I loved Team America, but
they
that was
always,
a while ago now.
yeah, but South Park they always seem to be on the money. South Park they tend to get it right most of the time
Yeah.
about everything,
I'll give it
and
another go.
know,
I'll give it another go.
yeah, I thought it was cool. But yeah,
Yeah.
so we need to come up with
Yeah.
something
We'll
else
figure
to
something
watch
out.
that's happening
Yeah.
for next week. Like I say, there's a few good movies coming out in November and December
Mhm.
and stuff like that. But yeah, some more
Yeah.
sci-fi TV, please.
All right then. Yes.
Cool.
Yeah. We'll leave it there then.
Oh, all right, yeah, fabulous. Well, yeah, I enjoyed that, and we'll do something next week.
Yeah. Cool. See you then.
Cheery, bye, bye.
Bye.